Hi guys, Miss Main here with today's story, Flat Stanley and the Missing Pumpkins. If you'd like to take the quiz, the number's right behind me, 190830. Let's see what Stanley and his family's up to today. Stanley Lamb Chop lived with his mother, his father, and his little brother Arthur. Stanley was 4 feet tall, about 4 feet wide, and about a half an inch thick. He had been flat ever since a bulletin board fell on him. Poor Stanley. How did he get flat? Might be a question on the quiz. The boys were on their way to their cousin Billy's farm. "I envy you," Mrs. Lamb Chop said. 2 weeks of fresh air and the country fair. How long do they get to stay? Might be a question on the quiz. "I can't wait to see Billy," said Arthur. "And Aunt Sue and Uncle Bob," said Stanley. "Aunt Sue was always baking pies to fatten him up." "I'm flat, not skinny," he'd tell her. It didn't seem to matter. The Lamb Chops pulled up to a big red farmhouse. "Billy!" yelled Arthur. "Arthur!" yelled Billy. They took off together. "Don't get into trouble," Mrs. Lamb Chop called after them. Stanley said goodbye to his parents. Uncle Bob helped with the bags. "Really? Ready for some chores?" Uncle Bob asked. "You bet," Stanley said. I bet Uncle Bob's happy with that. Kids that are ready for chores. Stanley loved doing farm chores. He was good at it too. He could slide his flat hands under the hens to collect their eggs, and they didn't mind a bit. Stanley could slip his flat body between rows to get every ear of corn. "Best picker around," said Uncle Bob. Look how flat he is right here. And when Uncle Bob needed to unload hay bales from his truck, Stanley made the perfect ramp. "You're mighty helpful, Stanley," Uncle Bob said one night at dinner. But you are still so thin," said Aunt Sue. "Even with all my good cooking, you must eat another slice of pie." I wouldn't mind. After dessert, Stanley went with Uncle Bob to fix a scarecrow in the pumpkin patch. Still doing chores. "The scarecrow does a fine job at scaring off birds," Uncle Bob said. "Too bad it can't scare off thieves. Someone's been taking my pumpkins." "That's awful," said Stanley. "And right before the county fair." "Oh, I never show my pumpkins at the fair," Uncle Bob said. "Gosh, no. I just don't like my pumpkins disappearing. Hand me a nail, please." Stanley passed Uncle Bob some nails. Uncle Bob fixed the scarecrow's shoulder. "I've tried standing guard at night, but the thieves just wait until I go home," he said. Stanley looked at the scarecrow's skinny wooden arm. Then he looked at his own flat one. "Uncle Bob, I have a plan." That night, the moon lit the sky. Stanley stood still, trying not to scratch. It was hard since his sleeves and pants were stuffed with straw. Stanley was about to give in and scratch when he saw something. 2 flashlights bobbing in the dark. "This way," a voice whispered. The lights grew closer. Ooh, he's about to catch some thieves. Stanley held his breath. Then someone bumped into him. "Ow!" Ow! This scarecrow's elbow is so pointy, said the thief. Gotcha! Stanley yelled, and then he snatched the flashlight and shone it in both thieves' faces. What on earth? Stanley said. Arthur and Billy? Why are you stealing pumpkins? It's a surprise for Uncle Bob, Arthur said. Some surprise, said Stanley. No, really, said Billy. There's a fair tomorrow. Dad's too shy to take his pumpkins, but I know he could win a prize. Arthur's helping me find the good ones. We're going to show them at the fair. Aw, that's nice. So they're not thieves after all. Stanley couldn't help smiling. That really is a good surprise. How can I help you? Well, there's one thing you can do, said Arthur. What could he do? He could be the ramp so they could roll the pumpkins up onto the truck, right? Uncle Bob found Stanley the next day. Did the thieves show up last night? Oh, yes, said Stanley. Come see. What on earth? Uncle Bob said. The boys quickly explained the plan. Arthur and I will handle everything. You can just watch, said Billy. What do you say, Dad? Well, gosh, said Uncle Bob. It looks like my pumpkins are going to the fair. Oh, those are good boys. Make a prize-winning pie. Stanley, you must eat another slice. Well, if you insist, I think I'm going to go have some pumpkin pie right now. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.